Well, hello, chanters for Clear Light and Song of the Morning. My name's Steve Sandner, and doing a little live stream just to do an update on what's going on with our Thursday chanting. We've been doing Thursday chanting, something I started over 2 years ago from Sedona and continued on into the summers at Song of the Morning in Michigan, and alternated between Arizona and Michigan locations. And all of a sudden, the Thursday chanting is not live, or it's irregular, and that's because um, I've taken a full-time, very consuming gig in my profession as a musician on Mackinac Island here in Michigan, which came up suddenly. So I didn't have time to uh, uh, artfully plan how things were going to be communicated to everybody who was tuning in for the Thursday chanting. But I'm live here in my living quarters here. Oops, got a little glare in my glasses. Anyway, here on Mackinac Island, and I'm happy to be gainfully employed, but I do miss the chanting with the Whispers of Om Kirtan Ensemble, which is Karen Epperson on tabla and my son Chris Sandner on cymbals, and we also have Barb Brown doing the opening prayers and readings, along with Sandy Jones and Jane O'Brien and others. So we are going to plan to do a live, or I have to talk to everybody. I'm tentatively going to plan to do a live stream next Thursday, July 22nd, and also the Whispers of Om Kirtan Ensemble is playing at the Yoga Fest, and that is on August 1st, Sunday morning. And I'm not sure if that's going to be live streamed or not, but it will be. It probably is. That's it, from live from Song of the Morning Ranch during the actual Yoga Fest. And let me just double check that date, my calendar. I'm kind of doing this by the seat of my pants here, this little live stream. It is, yes, no, it is, let me get to the right month here. Yes, it would be August 1st, Song of the Morning Ranch at 10:30 a.m. And I'll have to get back to you on whether that's going to be live streamed or not. It may or may not be, but. Well, hello there. So we have a viewer here saying hi to Yogi Shiva Stevananda, or Steva Shivananda. I forget what my name is. Yeah, that's speaking of that. That reminds me of the coming up after Yoga Fest is the Yogacharya birthday celebrations, which is traditionally on Labor Day weekend, and there's a film festival conducted by Pam Mackay, and it will be. It was very successful last year. We had a collection of very creative short films, mostly done by people on their phones, and the creativity was unbelievable, and the devotion that came through from some of the videos. And Pam Mackay is repeating this film festival this year for Yogacharya's birthday, and you can get more information on that, I believe, on the songofthemorning.org website. So I'm seeing the comments. Thank you. At this point, I don't know who they're from. I'm getting. I can find out though. Anyway, I was wondering if anybody was going to be watching. I did not know. So, I'm going to play a couple of chants. I'm going to play another announcement is there's a new CD coming out, Yogacharya's reading of Paramahansa Yogananda's from the lessons, the service readings. and also a meditation similar to the last CD that came out, which was called How to Attune with the Divine. This new one is called The Art of Concentration. It's got some excellent material in it from the writings and lectures of Paramahansa Yogananda, some readings from Whispers from Eternity, and an epic meditation by Yogacharya Oliver from April of 1968, where he covers a lot of territory in giving us a little, you want to call it a pep talk, to get us inspired to get more deeply into meditation. His meditations are just amazing, I think, in my opinion. So I'm going to play that meditation here, and in just a few minutes after I play a couple of chants. I'm kind of doing this by the seat of my pants, and let's play a chant, and then I'll come back and talk some more. By the Thursday meditations, by the way, that I've been doing for over 2 years, through under the auspices of Clear Light Community and Song of the Morning Ranch, are going to be irregular, but we are planning a live one for next Thursday at noon, changing the time a little bit. So I'm sorry for the changes. You know, people generally don't like changes, but in order for me to get off of Mackinac Island and do a live chanting session in Vanderbilt, noon is much better time, and I hope it works out for you to see us live next Thursday with the Whispers of Om Kirtan Ensemble. Also at the Yoga Fest, as I just mentioned a couple of minutes ago. Yoga Fest will be August 1st at 10:30 a.m. Not sure if that's going to be live streamed, but come on down to Yoga Fest. You can find out more particulars on the Yoga Fest at songofthemorning.org. Okay, we're going to play a chant, and then we're going to be coming up with an amazing Yogacharya Oliver meditation in a few minutes. Normally we wait till half past the hour, but after a chant or two, I think I'm going to play the meditation, and I'm going to repeat the information that I just said in case people are tuning in later or at a different time. And so we've got next Thursday, the date would be July 22nd at noon Eastern Time, Whispers of Om Kirtan plus a Yogacharya meditation. Kirtan Ensemble Whispers of Om will also be playing at Yoga Fest on August 1st, Sunday, August 1st, before the main service at 10:30 a.m. at Song of the Morning Ranch. Then coming up, Yogacharya's birthday celebration, Labor Day weekend, the film festival. And you can find out most of this information on the songofthemorning.org website. I don't know if they have our Thursday chanting and meditations listed there, but we planning on a Thursday chanting next week, Thursday at noon. So here's a little chant, and I'll come back and chat a little more with you. If you have, I see the chat window is open. If you have any more questions, let me know. Here we go with, if I can find it. Here we go, chanting video. I think this is it, with an opening prayer. Oh, I'm not getting audio. Where is the audio?
No. Saints and sages of all religions, we bow to you all. Free our spiritual path from all obstacles, and lead us to the shores of eternal wisdom and bliss. May thy love shine forever on the sanctuary of our devotion, and may we be able to awaken thy love in all hearts. Om, peace, bliss. Amen.
Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakayeshu Sarvada Om Gang Ganapataye Namaha. Who tells me thou art Tara, O my Mother Divine? Who tells me thou art Tara, O my Mother Divine? Thousands of suns and moons from thy body do shine. Thousands of suns and moons from thy body do shine. Who tells me thou art Tara, O my Mother Divine? Who tells me thou art Tara, Mother Divine? Thousands of suns and moons from thy body do shine. Thousands of suns and moons from thy body do shine. Tells me thou art Tara, O my Mother Divine? Who tells me thou art Tara, O my Mother Divine? Thousands of suns and moons from thy body do shine. Thousands of suns and moons from thy body do shine. Who tells me thou art Tara, O my Mother Divine? Who tells me thou art Tara, my Mother Divine? Who tells me thou art Tara, my Mother Divine? Who tells me thou art Tara, O my Mother Divine? Thousands of suns and moons from thy body do shine. Thousands of suns and moons thy body do shine. Thousands of suns and moons from thy body do shine. Thousands of suns and moons from thy body do shine. Who tells me thou art Tara, O my Mother Divine? Who tells me thou art Tara, O my Mother Divine? Thousands of suns and moons from thy body do shine. Thousands of suns and moons from thy body do shine. Who tells me thou art Tara, O my Mother Divine? Who tells me thou art Tara, O my Mother Divine? Thousands of suns and moons from thy body do shine. Thousands of suns and moons from thy body do shine. Oh, thousands of suns and moons from thy body do shine. Who tells me thou art Tara, O my Mother Divine? Me thou art Tara, O my Mother Divine. Thousands of suns and moons from thy body do shine. Thousands of suns and moons from thy body do shine. Who tells me thou art Tara, my Mother Divine? Who tells me thou art Tara, O my Mother Divine? Thousands of suns and moons from thy body do shine. Thousands of suns and moons from thy body do shine. Thousands of suns and moons from thy body do shine. tells me thou art God, O my Mother Divine? Who tells me thou art God, O my Mother Divine? Tells me thou art dark, O my Mother Divine. All right, that's from our chanting session from a couple of months ago at the Vanderbilt Gateway Art Gallery Studio. And we're going to be broadcasting from there next Thursday on the July 22nd with the Whispers of Om Kirtan Ensemble. Then also we'll be playing at the Yoga Fest August 1st at Song of the Morning Ranch. And then also want to mention that the Yogacharya's birthday celebration, right about that time, a new CD will be coming out. And I'm going to play the meditation that is on the CD, a little preview. It's a fairly amazing meditation by Yogacharya J. Oliver Black. It's over 20 minutes long. And he talks about some of his experiences with Master. He also talks about, covers a wide range of preparation for meditation and gives us inspiration to do, as he almost always does every meditation session at the Detroit Institute of Arts. He mentions the importance of practice, daily practice, and setting aside your own time to do your own sadhana. He doesn't call it sadhana, but it's your own practice to do your own meditation in an enthusiastic way. He inspired in us the enthusiasm to do this daily practice of Paramahansa Yogananda's techniques in Kriya Yoga in the broad sense, the entire approach to Raja Yoga through Paramahansa Yogananda's Kriya Yoga. So I'll play the audio and I'll come back at the end and have a few more comments. Trying to decide I'm not sure if I'll actually we'll have just a few moments of silence after the meditation, then I'll come back. So here we go.
Now, as we begin our meditation this morning, let us all sit uprightly in our seats with our spine straight, shoulder blades together, chin level, leaning slightly forward for balance. The feet may be placed flat on the floor and together. And with the backs of the hands lying at the junction between the thighs and the abdomen, all the energy circuits are closed so that energy is not escaping from your body, because the energy that is circulating at different, say, the knee joints and the ankle joints and around the feet, around the hips and the wrists and the hands and the elbows and the shoulders, are all moving in a circuitous motion. The yogi straightens out all those circuitous motions and begins to draw the energy, straighten these circuits out, and begins to draw them from the tips of the limbs, from the fingers or the toes, or fingers through the hands, and then the upper arm, and back into the body, and from the toes back into the feet, and into the legs, and then to the upper leg, lower leg, and then the upper leg, back into the body. And after the energy has been withdrawn back into the trunk of the body, And then the energy will begin to flow by itself toward the spine. And then as it moves toward the spine, into the spine, and you can watch it with your mind if you want to, if you meditate on it a little bit. And then when it gets into the spine, it takes an upward track toward the top of the head, using the spine as a channel to bring the energy toward the top of the head. And as you bring it back into the body and through the spine, then the energy passes through these chakras or lotus centers. They're called seals in the Book of Revelation. The seals to be eventually broken within each and every one's consciousness. And then one rises from the lower state of consciousness into the higher stages step by step. And then as the energy moves toward the top of the spine, then through the neck, and then to the spiritual eye, or the point between the eyebrows, that is the point of concentration. So the Gita text and all saints and sages all concentrate their attention at the point between the eyebrows. That is the door through which one escapes into the infinite. He really doesn't escape through the infinite. When the spiritual eye is open, he finds himself already in it. He always is in it and always was in it, but he realizes that he is in the infinite light of consciousness, out of which we have all come and back into which we will all eventually return in consciousness. Now, if you concentrate your attention at the point between the eyebrows, lifting your attention with your mind, and place the attention one-pointedly at the mid-spot between the eyebrows. That will cause you to have to raise the eyeballs a little bit, and as though the right posture of the eyeballs will be, and you can do a little test by yourself, that if you just look up, not cross-eyed, just look up, and you see the shadow of your eyebrow. And then you look at that and then close your eyes, and then your eyes will be in the right position. See? Because what you're trying to do is to get into the superconscious mind within yourself and leave the conscious mind, which is in the middle, so to speak, the superconscious mind below. The conscious mind is you only had that since you've been born. You developed that since birth. That's developed to take advantage of the location you are in the universe, or what planet you may be on, or where you've taken up this lifetime. And you have to learn about the things around you. You have to learn out where you've landed and what your purpose is here, and where you're going, and to get an idea of the surroundings that you develop. And then when you pass from this body through the door of death, you lose the conscious mind again. But all of the experiences that you have in a lifetime are all kept and registered and filed in the library of the mind, in the library of the subconscious mind. Now when you meditate, you really do the same thing. You forget that you have a conscious mind, or the mind that all it does is to see, feel, hear, taste, and smell. That is the contact to the outer world for souls that evolve out of one life into another. But when you learn how to meditate, you withdraw the activity of the conscious mind, which might be simulated like, say, you close your fist, your 5 fingers out like an outstretched hand would be like the 5 senses going out from the conscious mind. So when you begin to close your fingers into the fist, you fold your fingers into the fist, and then it isn't used anymore. And then you can explore in consciousness your subconscious or your superconscious mind. The superconscious part of your mind is light. It's dazzling light. The subconscious mind is a record of all experiences, not only in this lifetime, but all lifetimes past, ever since you've been in evolution. There are the recordings, and it's called, in occult parlance, it's called the Akashic Records. So everything that you do, every act, thought, word, act, and deed is recorded there. Whether your acts are of good or ill, whatever they are still there. And that is why meditation then, when we begin to see our faults and our mistakes and our realize that we are unsteady creatures and wayward ones as well, that we can begin to regain control of ourselves. So the wise men are those that have put effort into this scientific approach to God, and the yogis find that they have to retrain the mind or reorganize the mind so that it can work normally and naturally once more. And that is why yogis practice meditation. Now, don't let anyone let your attention get away from your attention at the point between the eyebrows, because if you do, you're not doing anything. You haven't even started. You're sitting there just like maybe blinking around like a toad in a hailstorm. So that isn't meditation at all. The body must be steadied. And the reason for that is because if you practice sitting quiet and still, you begin to get control of your body. And that's the first control that you must have. Then after the body no longer bothers you, and then you can begin to look inside yourself at your own mind, what you're thinking about, and what it takes up all of the time of your conscious thinking. Now, in order to fold the fingers of the five senses, the energy that outflows through these senses are attached to objects, outward objects, or outward interests, or whatever the interest may be, or whatever the attachment may be, millions of them. The science of meditation is to learn how to detach one's attention from objects of the senses. So if you get quiet and still enough, the function of the senses become weak. And after a while, they will just say, like they just go into a state of inactivity. And when you do that, then the mind is slowed down because the mind is busy with its thoughts and ideas. And thoughts and ideas must be eliminated from the mind, otherwise there's no contact with the indwelling presence. When one meditates, if he ceases to create desires, if one has desires, his mind has to think thoughts and ideas how to produce the desires, the fulfillment of a desire. So if we learn how to not desire or wish for anything or be attached from anything, and then naturally it can be seen that there'd be no thoughts disturbing the mind. It is the thoughts that disturb the mind, keeps it in a restless condition, and that's what produces the darkness that we see when we close our eyes. So if you're free from desire, naturally you would have no thoughts, and then your mind could become quiet and still be like a mirror. And then the infinite consciousness could place before the mirror of the mind something that might be of highly interesting and real value to you. You wouldn't have to do so many worries and fears and frets to accomplish something if you can see the answer in your own self, or let the infinite consciousness show you the answer, or speak it to you, or or you see it, or there are many ways it can happen, that you can be sure that there is an indwelling presence that is ready to guide and direct you after you contact God in meditation. It's a science for the New Age. The human race is very young in its present stage. In evolution, it's very young. It has to be taught now how to have conscious communion with the indwelling presence. This Lord within you, in ancient times or 2,000 years ago, the name Lord, L-O-R-D, meant the mind. Like in Buddhism, Buddha is the idea of the superconscious mind. Buddhi is the intellect. So Lord and God and Lord God and all of those, the same thing as you say in Buddhism. If you say Buddha or Buddhi, we have a mind, but we have also the different aspects of the mind, the subconscious, conscious, and superconscious aspect of the mind. So don't be confused when you read the ancient scripts that use other terminologies that may confuse you or something like that. And always remember that this birth of Christ in the manger at Bethlehem is your own body. And Christ will be born in the cradle of your own consciousness when your mind is quiet and still and you come into the light. When you see the light within yourself, that is the birth of the that symbolizes the birth of the Christ consciousness within you. And when you become quiet and still within, many things can come to you, millions of things, infinite number, and they'll all be helpful or directive, or there'll be something that will be highly rewarding for you if you'll take what we're talking about right now seriously. And you'll find that what we're doing now, the scope of this idea is throughout consciousness, throughout the world, and the sub-worlds, and as well as the upper worlds. More in the upper worlds because many people are not too conscious of it in this world. As we pass through the 14 worlds that we are striving to get through, we're now in the 6th, and want to get into the 7th. Or the 4th, I'm sorry. In the 3rd and trying to get into the 4th, so that's about the middle ways of our human evolutionary effort. Even when we get our spiritual eye open and we can see into the light, we still are just now beginning the homeward track toward the ultimate realization of God. Now, when you learn to sit quiet and still, like we're doing now, keep your concentration at the point between the eyebrows. And you don't need to philosophize all the things that I've done or other things, but learn how to get quiet and still with yourself, and all the real answers will come to you. Then you will grow in increasing awareness. Your spiritual natures will be developed. Your looks will change. Your behavior will change. Everything will change. Not that somebody does it to you, says you have to, because you don't have to do anything. But if you want to do the best for yourself, you better look into it and see what there is to it. Read good books on yoga, or of the yogis, or of the great saints and sages. We have many individuals in evolution are labeled saints, but they're not. Those are titles given maybe sometime after they've left the earth, or even while they're here, as far as that's concerned. But a real saint, or a sage, or a seer, is one that stills himself within so he can see into the land of Canaan. As Moses, the story of Moses with the Israelites in the wilderness. See, the wilderness means the wilderness of the senses, but two he trained to see into the land of Canaan. Only two reported back that land of milk and honey. Well, Moses' mind must have been working pretty good when he had a vision that he had to get his Israelites across the Red Sea, that place at the Red Sea, escaping from Pharaoh. He did that, but it turned out his vision proved true because a westerly wind took the tide. That's when the tide was going out, and it exposed the sandbar. And Moses saw that in his meditation. He'd never been there before. And he had to hurry. He didn't have time. By the time he had his vision, when he was meditating, everyone stood up to eat their breakfast in order to hurry to get to this place that he saw. And when he got there, they walked across dry shod. Pharaoh came with his hordes and followed right in there after him because they tracked him right in there. And by the time he got there, the tide had changed and came in and drowned the whole army of them. Well, that was the difference between one getting divine injunction or perception or something that told him of the future, what to do and how to do it, and he was all right. But what happened to Pharaoh, the ignorant one? He might have been a great ruler, powerful physically and all that, but that doesn't do what Moses did versus what he did. So those are some of the things that can come to you in meditation. We have these examples down through history, through all the races and the times and climes and all those spiritual ones that have developed their minds so that, and everyone can do it if he would. You don't have to think about the great Moses because he was only a human being just like we are. Even as great as Jesus was, he says, you can do all the things that I'm doing and greater things, because we have a more complex world that we're living in today than what he had then. So if you can do great things in this, you're doing as great a thing as he said he did in that lifetime, 2,000 years ago. He said, you can do all the things that I've done and greater things. Know ye not that ye are all gods? Yoga has an explanation for every human need. Doesn't make any difference whether it's physical, mental, or spiritual. There's an answer in yoga for every question, for every problem. Your time will be well spent if you follow the science of yoga. It has the answer for all human dilemma. Now for just a little while, let us all become very quiet and still, and be careful not to disturb the one next to you, because when we get quiet here, when you make a little noise, it sounds like a rock and roll thing. You hear, your sense of hearing even sensitizes for a little while, until you learn how to take control of it. But a little disturbance in one part of the temple or the other sets up vibrations that interfere with one's effort to meditate. So let us be friendly and considerate, and when we try to meditate, not to make the slightest noise of any kind. Not even a cough or a turn or a twist or anything. Because everyone here today can meditate as one, not as whatever number there are here today, but as separate creatures. So let us all be quiet and still. Keep your attention focused at the point between the eyebrows.
Thank you, Yogacharya J. Oliver Black, for meditation from, and I have to check the date on that. I may have that date wrong. It says April 1968. I think that is from 1969, but I'm going to check that. And that is probably going to be the meditation that will be on the upcoming CD called The Power of Concentration. It also includes a service reading, the words of Paramahansa Yogananda, read by Yogacharya J. Oliver Black, and also a couple of chants. And it's similar to the format of the last CD that came out through Golden Lotus. So once again, I just want to repeat that we're going to be doing chanting next Thursday, July 22nd at noon, a live session from our Vanderbilt studio. And then we will also be playing live at Yoga Fest August 1st at 10:30 a.m. Not sure if that's going to be live streamed or not. I'll find out and I will get back to you. And then the new CD is coming out on Yogacharya birthday weekend, which is Labor Day weekend 2021. And it's called The Power of Concentration. And it will probably include that last meditation. It's nothing. It's not set in stone yet, but have most of the tracks lined up and ready to go to press, if you will. We're going to play a final chant. Thank you for coming, and thank you for your interest in clear light chanting in Paramahansa Yogananda and Yogacharya Oliver Black and Song of the Morning Ranch. If you want more information, you can go to songofthemorning.org. If you want information on the community, somcommunity.com. And here's a final chant, if I can do this right. I can.
Thursday at 1 p.m., and we're happy you could join us today, and we will start with an opening prayer.
Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, friend, beloved God.
Namaste.